in and out. I don't know any of that. We have so little information on this. And you know what? If there's ever an accident between a bus and a car, who do you think is going to pay? City of Brampton is going to pay, not the person who maybe rushed out of there and got into an accident with a bus. City of Brampton is going to pay that. And I really don't want to see it. I wouldn't want to come. I tell you what, if that happens there with buses and cars coming out together, I won't use that access. I'll use the one further to the east. Further to the west, sorry, I'm going backwards. Further to the west, which I often use at times. There are two accesses to this plaza that are not that far away from each other. So I don't know what the big deal is about using that other one there. And if you need to close this, you need to close this one. But there are still 3 other ways. And a lot of people who come in there are not necessarily going to this plaza up here. They're coming all the way down and around here to the bottom. In fact, I can't really highlight it on the screen, but they'll come in to the west entrance. They'll come all the way down and around here to get round to the places that are around this side of the plaza. So I've never seen this as an issue there when I've gone in and out, and I really do not want to see buses interacting with cars coming in and out of this one exit. I really don't want to see that, and I think, as Councillor Miles said earlier, this should have gone back to staff to come back with a proper report on how this would work, how the buses and the cars would work in tandem together. And shame on us as a council if we don't allow that to happen before we make a full decision on it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And, I have no problem in supporting the motion as revised by Councillor Palashi. He's asking that this be sent to staff, for staff to come back to us with a report showing how this can be done. If it's really, really impossible, staff will come back and say it can be done. But I like staff to work in conjunction with the property owners, to the neighbor, to work together and see, because if staff comes back and says it can be done, and then we have the other consultant says yes, it can be done, I like some kind of a coordinated effort for staff to look at this. Yeah. So I'm supporting. Yeah.
He's now debating the referral, which was dealt with.
Yeah, I'm supporting the
Councillor, the
Palashi's.
Your interpretation of the motion is not exactly what the motion is. The motion is to get it done. It's not to come back to see if you can do it. It's figure it out and get it done. Let people go away and make it so. There's no coming back with a report. There's no coming back with who pays. It's get it done. Well, that's what it says.
Well, perhaps Councillor Palashi can you can revise your wording to make it understandable that if there's a real serious problem, the staff has the opportunity to come and say to us, guys, it can't be done. We need that leverage there, or flexibility in the motion, Councillor Palashi.
So, Councillor Palashi, when you were speaking, I added your words in principle. Maybe that's what Councillor.
Absolutely, and that's fine to say that it's being principle. I think what the decision has to be made here today is that it be a joint access. And that's, you move it in principle, then you go away and you work it out how you're going to do it. You work it out if there's going to be cost sharing and all those items. But you go away on the basis that it's going to be a joint access. That's what the motion says. It doesn't say go away and tell them, come back, because you'll come back and say, we can't work it out, we still disagree with it, then we'll spend another 2 hours debating it again, and the exact same thing. So let's get on with the decision, move it. I'm moving that it be approved in principle, a joint access. Now go away and make it happen. And you can bring a report back. I'm not saying don't bring a report back. Bring a report back saying here's how it's gonna happen, and here's the shared costs and whatever else.
Okay, that's how, Counselor,
Simple.
can I add that the, do you want so staff report back to council with costs and the design?
Fine.
Is that, okay, so this is staff. I just wanna make sure, report back to council
So I guess Tom's gotta, yeah, it's gotta be before you leave.
with,
August,
say
when are you
with-
leaving, the end of
with
August?
the design.
August
concept-
8th.
Do you wanna say with the design concept and cost?
Fine. You know what?
What do you
I
want me
think
to
it's,
say? I don't wanna,
I'm just, you know what, I'm not gonna nickel and dime this thing right down to the exact thing, and then they're gonna come back and say, well, sorry, we can't make it work. You know, it's just, you come back with a report on the costs and design and costs on a joint access, okay? I think that's pretty simple.
Okay, so council, pardon me, Councillor Hames.
Just very quickly, what if it comes back from staff and in their professional opinion, it's not safe to do so? Because I don't want them coming back and writing something that they're not comfortable with. It has to be in there. If the design, well, that's not what I'm hearing from Councillor Palashi. He's saying do it. He's not saying do it if it's safe, he's just saying do it,
Maybe
period.
it'll be an overpass,
Right.
it'll only be. Council, the motion is here, that's, well, let's just, it says whereas the discussion, we've said that before, be it resolved that a joint use access on Clark Boulevard be approved in principle, and staff report back to council with a design and cost on said joint access, or adjoint access. I mean, I'm just trying to bring this to a conclusion. You could have an overpass, it's all, and then it wouldn't have, I mean, we're not trying to get into the realm of ridiculous, we're trying to get into the realm of enabling a redevelopment site and protecting safety and risk from the corporation. I know the councillor for the area would want that addressed. So, I'll call the question. It's a recorded vote, please.
Members of council, all in favor of the motion as stated by the mayor, please stand to be counted. Showing in favor of the motion is Councillor Moore, Councillor Gibson, Councillor Palashi, Councillor Hutton, Councillor Sprovieri, Councillor Dillon, Councillor Sanderson, Councillor Callahan. All opposed to the motion, please stand to be counted. Showing opposed to the motion is Councillor Miles, Councillor Hames, and Mayor Fennell. Madam Mayor, the motion carries 7-3. 8-3.
Thank you. Council, the final motion on the subject is a report from the Commissioner and that it be received. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Next is, another report too. Next, H. Council, the next report is H1. I want to, it's been moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Sprovieri. It's quite an extensive report. We've had many residents ask, do we have any plan to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II? I want to compliment staff who have done the research and brought to us a very, what I would say are very ideal recommendations. And the recommendation, the Alder Lee, which is one of our most important heritage properties, that the pavilion be renamed or dedicated the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Pavilion, that a community park be dedicated as the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Pavilion. The current official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which is attached to the report today, that be prominently displayed in all city facilities that are open to the public, and the new portrait be framed and displayed in an appropriate location in the council chambers. This course, is the current portrait, so you'll have an updated portrait. This is an exciting idea which has come forward from Community Services, that an alley of 6 oak trees, 3 on each side of a walkway, 1 oak for each decade of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, be located in the newly dedicated Diamond Jubilee Park or in a location suitable for such planting, and we'll leave that to the Commissioner to decide. And that all these legacy projects include a permanent commemorative marker indicating their status as Diamond Jubilee tributes, and that a report be prepared for the next council meeting on the implementation of the foregoing recommendations to include the following: the location of the proposed park dedication and the location of the Alley of the Oaks, and an overview of the event plan for these foregoing recommendations, because we would want to have that commemoration. So that is the report before you, Councillor Hames.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank you for bringing this forward. It's a very well written, for the Jubilee, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of those things. If Councillor Sprovieri wouldn't mind, I'd like to second that motion.
Councillor Sprovieri, would you allow that to go to our Councillor Hames? Oh, did you hear that?
You're in trouble. In this game,
Council, all in
It is
favor of
out.
these very exciting recommendations? Oh, sorry, Councillor Callahan, you must have just pushed your button.
Right, it's a nice report, but how much is the cost? Where's the cost? Is that gonna come back in the report, or what?
That's why the report is coming back, Councillor. The recommendation is to come back with the recommended park name and where it would be and that information.
And the cost?
Well, that'll come back. I mean, if you put
Sorry,
a name
is
on
that
a
part of
building.
is that part of the resolution?
I don't have the resolution back in front of me. The recommendation is that we name a building, that we dedicate a building, that the official portrait, do you want to know what it costs to put, do you want that to come back in the report, how much it costs to put new?
No, Madam Mayor, what I wanna know is what the cost is, the overall cost, and that should be included in the report that we get.
Okay, we can add that we have the cost of the Queen's pictures being framed.
Now, Madam Mayor,
can you
let's
put
not
that
be
in?
silly, okay?
I'm not being
I
silly,
didn't say
Counselor.
I didn't say the portrait, I said I'd like to know what the full cost of this recommendation is. It's not in the report, or unless I've missed it completely. And I would like to see that.
Well, we
with all the
plant trees all the time, so we're gonna plant 6 together, and I don't mind adding that. I'm just trying to add it so we can get this.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get it, I'm gonna vote to get it through, but I wanna know what the cost is. The full cost, not the cost of the picture, the cost of the trees, whatever. I have no problem with those things, I just wanna know what the cost is.
Could we add that with appropriate language so that it comes back to this council? Would you like to know the cost before they proceed, or can we do this concurrent to the Queen's Jubilee year? I imagine the cost is minimal, Councillor, but I have no problem with us having the number.
Well, it's probably going to come back, I would think. Couldn't be very difficult. They could bring it back for the August 8th council meeting, and when I've seen the price, I have no problem. Love the Queen. She looks like my wife. It's true.
The clerk has added the words, the location of the proposed park, the location of the Alley of Oaks, the overview of the event plan, and the total cost to implement these recommendations, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Hutton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would ask that when coordinating a date for official opening of this, that communication be made with the Governor General and Lieutenant Governor both to see if something could fit into their calendar, so they could be either one or the other or both could be here for that auspicious occasion.
Yes, I believe those letters have already gone. Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Is this the next one? Council, I've added today a report with respect to the Canada Day celebration. As you know, Canada Day is so fondly remembered by our citizens as being in Chinguacousy Park. You know that when we undertook the amazing renovation plan of Chinguacousy Park, we relocated relocated Canada Day to the Powerade Centre. This, I believe, is the third year of the celebrations. In order to have ample activities at essentially what is a building and open space, a number of large activities have been added to Canada Day in addition to Campbell Amusements and so on. I've heard from other people, have received emails as well from the public once they saw the ads this week saying Canada Day was still at the Powerade Centre, hoping and urging that it be returned to Chinguacousy Park. With that spirit in mind, and I agree with those principles, I agree with those sentiments. Chinguacousy Park is a place for the family all day. There's the infrastructure that's already there exists. We don't have to rent it. The barn is there, the water play area is there, the paddle boats are there, the mini golf is there, the shade is there. There's ample space now for the festival space for our stage in the evening events, and that's why I'm asking the staff to develop a report to move it back to Chinguacousy Park. I spoke to both area councillors and they are moving and seconding the motion. As you know, to work at the Powerade Centre, we have a very extensive and expensive transit operation that has to carry families and seniors to the park. There's no shade essentially, and people are looking forward to it going back. So it's not there this year because Chinguacousy Park is at its final stages of completion. In fact, if you visit the park, you'll have an amazing experience and you will see the new area for the paddle boats and the docking facilities at that facility. With all of the changes, we have the infrastructure on site to really make an extraordinary Canada Day celebration back where it traditionally has been served by our own Brampton Transit. Whether there needs to be a plan to add additional buses or we zoom to Canada Day is why I asked for a report, so all of those factors can be considered. But I would like to give the direction today that upon completion, of course, of Chinguacousy Park renovations expected to be complete this year, that 2013 will see Canada Day celebrations back at our beloved center of our city on Queen Street at Chinguacousy Park. So I have the motion here, and I felt it important to bring it before Canada Day because when we're off and continue to get people saying, well, that was quite a effort to get down there and back, and why don't you? We will have given people the comfort. In fact, we can announce it on the stage that we'll be back home to Chinguacousy Park next year. Councillor Sprovieri.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and certainly no one can deny that Chinguacousy Park has a great venue for these kind of events. The only question I have, and I know we spoke about this before in the past, that with the new meadows of the Gore Meadows coming on stream, that we talked about possibly because it's 240-acre park, possibly that could be a site for future space, and or whether because the city is growing so much, and perhaps Chinguacousy Park won't be able to handle the volume of people, we could actually look at having some activities in the larger parks in the east and the west, and also keep Chinguacousy also as the center of the activity. So I hope that with the report, staff will be addressing those issues, whether we can provide something to the west, one of the large parks, something to the east, and something to the center, so that I know a lot of people don't go to Chinguacousy because of the crowds, no place to park, and a lot more people like to see the fireworks, which are probably one of the main attractions, and so we can move on to bigger things in the future.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. That's carried. And now the next, we're going through. Council, the next item in open session is we're moving through to I-4-1. It's the funding request for Carabram. It's the standard report to provide financial support and it is moved by Councillor Dillon and seconded by Councillor Sanderson. It's I-4-1. It was approved in the budget, and it's here for the vote. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. I guess we should have done that well. The president of Carabrand is here. I-4-2, Council, this is an amazing story. It's moved by Councillor Miles and Councillor Dillon, and this is the shared use. Councillor, oh, he's not here, Councillor Callahan often talked about shared use facilities with the school board, and here we are doing an amazing project to create artificial turf with lighting and a joint use facility fields that can be used by both the recreation department and the school. And I want to say I've received compliments from the school boards and people involved that are just very pleased that we've found a way in this community to best use our DC dollars and our budget interaction to achieve. The David Suzuki Secondary School field is so exciting and will provide tremendous opportunity for the school and for the city of Brampton. It's very innovative, it's very first time, and it brought together with the cooperation of the school boards and the city of Brampton. It's moved by Councillor Miles. It's seconded by Councillor Dillon and Councillor Sprovier. You're the first speaker. Councillor Gibson second.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and again, I'd like to also share your excitement on this project. I know I've been hearing from a lot of soccer people from Ward 9 and 10. Mr. Harry Obrol is very involved in soccer, and they've been waiting anxiously for this kind of facility that will provide greater opportunities to play soccer, and especially for the adults later in the evening, where the kids can play, the younger people can play earlier, and then the only question I have, Madam Chair, is that Mayor, is I hope that staff is planning to do something like this on the Gore Meadows sportsplex also, to have a facility in the east and the one in the west. I think it would be really great to work towards that, because I think this is the way of the future, to have these facilities where weather will not affect the play. People can still have their games regardless if it rained the day before or not. As it stands now, that's one of the big problems when you have the rains, especially in the spring. The fields are not able to be used. So I'd like to ask the Commissioner whether there's plans to do more of this in the city.
Through Madam Mayor, there's a couple of things that we've been working on with the school board, and to answer your question, one of the sites we are currently looking at to work with the board is Sandalwood Heights, which is, as you know, adjacent to the YMCA. It's more of a campus situation. That way we do share some costs, and we do be able to joint program that field. There's adequate parking. And the other one is, as you mentioned, would be on Gore Meadows Park, that there's in the master plan for that park, there is a facility and some vision that there too would be artificial turf. So it's a way actually that we get much more use out of our sports facilities for longer periods of time, and we can really program them virtually from April till November, December, depending on the weather. So yes, to answer your question.
That's great. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Mayor, to staff, I just want to make sure that when they do the David Suzuki School lit diamonds and that we have consideration for the old, I guess it's Mr. Lowry, the old subdivision there. We're not putting the lights in those people's backyards, because they've lived across from a field for about 30 years, and so I hope that's been looked at, and we keep them away from their lighting up their backyards.
Through Madam Mayor, the fields are actually on the furthest west point of the actual park, and the lighting technology used there, they have cutoffs on them so that you'll be able to see the lights, but their light trespass will not be present.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. The question I have is about the ongoing maintenance of the artificial turf in cost comparison between a traditional one? I mean, clearly there's some benefits outlined in the report to having the artificial turf, but what does it do to our repair and replacement and ongoing maintenance budget?
We have our first artificial turf, through Madam Mayor, our first artificial turf is at Chinguacousy Park, as you know. The minimum or the actual maintenance seems to be quite minimum, but in comparison to the revenue generated from Sportsville users, because that's something that's factored in. Our hope and what we have expected that the revenue from those fields will more than offset the cost of the maintenance. We also hope that in the agreement, when it comes for repairs and replacement, that there'll be an equal cost share between us and the school board.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. Is that cost sharing for the ongoing maintenance, repair, and so on, gonna be covered in the MOU with the Peel Board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, that's carried. Council, the next motion is I-6-1, and this is a report coming from our
It's not on the agenda.
our treasurer. The subject is request for capital improvements for the Powerade Center. The motion is really enabling us to be part of the discussion to negotiate to keep the battalion hockey team here in the city of Brampton. I support this motion 100%. I've been waiting for this opportunity for us to be in the discussions. As you know, the Brampton Battalion are the tenant of Real Stars. We are not part of that conversation. I think that we want to be part and at the table of that conversation, and this enables us to at least be at the table and understand what the needs are. If you look at I-6-1-8, there's an estimate of some of the negotiations that have happened so far. As you know, the Powerade Center this year, it's been reported to us earlier and a little bit more now, has functioned this year with a profit. I just want to make sure I'm getting these words straight, Mr. Lewis. And part of the proposal is that they know going into that negotiation, if we were to use that money, we wouldn't need to find new tax money or a new capital line in the budget, but the center itself has generated this money that our staff could be at the table participating in terms of the cost of the leasehold improvements that the Brampton Battalion tenant has expressed to their landlord, Real Stars, and it puts us at the table. I know there's a request for a video board. That's very expensive. It's over $1 million. That is not part of the recommendation at all. The battalion have a deadline of August 1 to report out. Our next council meeting is August 8th. So to be clear, this recommendation is sending a signal, quite frankly, to the battalion hockey team that we want our staff to work with the sports center and be part of the discussions related to capital improvements. And that's a big signal, an important signal to Mr. Abbott. The operative of the motion is that staff come back to this council with the status and the outcome of the negotiations. And I wanted to ask, could we put that on for the August meeting? There's no date, so that when you're in the discussions, you know you have that fund. I know a number of years ago, in anticipation of supporting the battalion, this council approved a considerable sum of money to expand the parking lot so that the battalion would have more parking, which was important to the team at that time. So it's not precedent setting that we do have leasehold improvement investment in this facility pointed to the partnership that retains the Brampton Battalion Hockey Club. They are coming to their final season under the existing lease. So they will be playing this September 2012 through to 2013. According to their lease, they need to give notice of their intention to renew this year. According to OHL rules, they need to give intention to be considering relocation or not. I believe by the end of the year. The problem with all these discussions, I think you would agree, the public would want us, I could say as mayor, I want us to be at the table, to know that we do everything we can do or be aware of or bring back to this council before their decisions are made. So we're at the table. So that puts us at the table. It says on page, because it doesn't talk about the money in the resolution, I don't want to have any misunderstanding about that. My understanding is that this, fortunately, there's been some return on the building, that instead of that being refunded to the city, that be available for the negotiation for some of the things they're talking about. The battalion need more office space. The Italian battalion would like a larger dressing room and a training facility. Most OHL centers today have a gymnasium or so on fitness center attached. That would likely not be able to proceed with our contribution, but perhaps that contribution or investment could come from any of the other parties. They would like to talk about a new video board that stands on its own, sound systems, lighting. I think we can enable our staff to put the money available into the discussion and work hard to satisfy the battalion for 2012, that they will sign on and remain our Brampton battalion for years to come. This team is a brand of Brampton. They mean a lot, certainly, to the identity as Brampton as a sports town. Again, I bring you back to I-61-8. The city has sufficient funds in the budget to invest in these improvements. In addition, there's $170,000 reconciliation refund. So when you put that together, we're enabling them. We're not saying go give it to them. We're giving them some ability within our budget to find a solution to help keep this team here. Now, the video board is well over $1 million. Most OHL centers today have these large video boards. That discussion isn't something I think the city's involved in at this time, but they're putting it on the table. You've been to Mississauga Hershey Center, you've certainly seen their video board. Frankly, a video board for the Powerade Center is more important to the many entertainment events than it is to the hockey. So to me, that would bring a better utility, a better return on investment to the owners or PA Sports, and that should be something they consider doing, because they would be able to sell that as a feature. We've all been to entertainment events here and other places where whatever's on the stage is also showing on the video board. So the appeal of the video board isn't relegated to the battalion hockey schedule, although they would like it too. I consider that part an ongoing discussion. I doubt we can be the 100% solution of that, but we would be signaling we want our staff, we want the city of Brampton at the table for the discussions. We just had the coach of the team inducted into our Sports Hall of Fame. I had the opportunity to talk to him. He is most anxious and in support of this team remaining the Brampton Battalion. So I know there's some questions, but that's the reason the report is here. We're just learning these final opportunities and dollars. How can you go to the table without any dollars? This provides that opportunity. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To staff, I guess, to the two commissioners that signed the report here, has the battalion ever come to us and asked to sit down with us and have discussions, or have they just done this through the Powerade Center?
Through you, Madam Mayor, their arrangement is with the actual center, not us. So they haven't had a discussion with us, no.
They've never come to us. Well, you know, there's nobody around this table that's more supportive of the battalion over the years than me. But I gotta tell you, I'm highly insulted by this. Highly insulted that they have put the gun to our head. And if you read the letter through to the Powerade Center, it says whether the city, please advise earliest convenience whether the city is prepared to work with PA Sports Center Inc. on the necessary capital improvements. If the answer is affirmative, we'll ask you to provide a detailed proposal by August 1st. Well, we don't meet till August 8th. So unless we're gonna call a special council meeting, there's no way that the Sports and Entertainment Center can confirm whether or not we can or not. And, you know, I remember years ago, 4 years ago, I think it was, or 3 years ago, we gave direction to staff to try to make these two people, or these two groups, work together. And my understanding, it was a battalion who refused to sit down with, so I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. I mean, I've been a huge supporter of the battalion over the years. Tried to get the city, and the city has, the staff has worked very well, trying to work things out and help them. We've put money into the Powerade Center. You know, trying to make things out. I don't know why the parking lot would be something for the battalion. I couldn't understand why we did that in the first place when the battalion only get 1,500 to 2,000 people in there. We certainly, they're not filling their parking lot. So, I mean, and then we did all kinds of other stuff there. But you know, I really 100% agree with number 2 in here, that the council affirms its desire to retain the existing OHA Junior A franchise. We absolutely do. We all do. But having a gun put to our head, to me, is what this is doing. And I don't know why somebody wouldn't have called us, whether it be Mr. Griffin or Mr. Abbott, to say, we'd like to talk to you about working together as a three-way partnership here, instead of doing it through the Powerade Center. And I don't mean to take it out on staff. It's not
No.
your guys' fault. I know you guys are doing a great job here, so, you know,
Councillor Gibson, I have been trying very persistently to have the city part of the discussions. And you're quite right.
you and I both did, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Abbott is the tenant to the Powerade Center, and his desire, or I shouldn't say his desire, I don't know his desires, his response has only been back and forth to the Powerade Center. So we have an opportunity through the Powerade Center to come to the table and express our desire to this team. I don't know what is going to trip their interest to say, I'm staying. All I can be told is they have 2 other offers on the table, and they don't have one from Brampton. It's not ours to put on the table. It's Real Stars, and we need to be at that table so that when our residents say, well, you know, why couldn't you have done this or done that? We need to be at the table. I've tried to speak to Mr. Abbott when he was here, and I was told Mr. Abbott is not a man who wants to sit and negotiate. He just would like to see the offer. So Real Stars is saying, we're inviting you to come in and see if there's a way you can be part of the offer, because part of the offer that they would be making would be predicated on our saying we could allow that refund to stay in the building to enable them to make the offer. It's not how we'd like to do things, but it is the 7th hour. We've been trying to get this resolved. There's been rumors out there that they're leaving. The battalion are not leaving, but they may not be staying. So let's, and thank you, Councillor Gibson. I don't think you miss a game. And the recommendation says, let's let them know loud and clear this council wants them here. I think that's a big signal. And staff, go and tell us how this would work. That puts us at the table. That's what I'm trying to achieve, or they're trying to achieve. Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too am a big fan of the battalions and the Powerade Center. As you know, I'm a season ticket holder, and also I advertised when I had my business through the Powerade Center for a number of years. So I do support the center and also the team, and I support the team staying here. I have numerous conversations over the past playing season with the Powerade, and they were telling me that I guess earlier on when they did meet, that the club come back and they said they needed a bunch of things, and I was told by the manager of the Powerade that they could meet most of their concessions that they were looking for. So I was pretty optimistic about that. Now again, getting to the battalion. that's pretty difficult sometimes to talk to those particular people. So I guess as the area councillor that represents that particular area, and also as vice chair of community services, I was wondering if somewhere along the line that that I could be fit in somewhere on whatever group it is negotiating, just to keep us up to speed on what is going on, because there's nothing worse than going to the games and people asking questions and you don't know what's happening. So I'd be more than interested at some point to get
To be
involved.
briefed as we're going,
Absolutely.
sort of, if we
Yeah.
show up, they all,
Well,
I know.
Well, that's okay, but
Councillor Callahan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Something that's always bewildered me right from the start is the Powerade Center. Um, The history of it is rather unusual in the way it was funded and the way it was occupied. Have we ever, or can we break out the income that this city receives from programs that are other than the battalion, for instance, ice skating, etc.? I'd like to know how much we're getting apart from and how much we're paying to keep this whole thing going. I'd heard that the battalion was leaving almost about 6 months ago. And, well, I'm glad you give us that assurance, Madam Mayor, because I wouldn't want to see it leave. But that was what I've heard. The last connection I had with the Powerade Center was probably about 4 years ago. They brought us over to the Powerade Center, and I can't remember who was there, probably many of the councilors that were here. And we were told that we were the directors or the founders of the Powerade Center, and that we would be included in all discussions. Since then, I haven't heard anything. Pardon? What? Well, that's probably right. But I mean, these things that sort of, when people ask me about the Powerade Center, I have to say that I'm somewhat bewildered, and I feel like an idiot when I can't give them specific advice. We should be having an update of a report from the Powerade Center almost on a 3-month basis, so we can keep a handle on it. Because if we don't keep a handle on it, Lord knows what they'll be asking from us next year. And I think we have to have more direct activity in terms of what they're doing, and for that matter, we also need some sort of every 3 months, a list of how much money they're bringing in, because in fact, now that we're not paying the $600,000, which we were originally doing, we're paying less because they made some money. That's a hell of a kick in the head for a debt that's been outstanding for what, 10 years?
Through
The,
through you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Callahan, the arrangement that the city has with the Powerade Center is that they provide on an annual basis council their financial statements. On an annual basis, every year, this council receives a report that presents the financial statements of the center in terms of their operations, gives an analysis of their upcoming, or the business plan for the upcoming year, and again, as indicated in the report, and as you recall, they have been struggling financially. We ended up working with them, as directed by council staff, worked with them, and we did some refinancing that allowed them to do much better in terms of their annual debenture payment, and consequently, after that refinancing, 2011 operations, it's the first year where actually they did generate positive cash flow, sufficient so, as opposed to the previous years where they actually, at the end of the year, each year, the city had to actually contribute money under the agreement. 2011 is the first year, and as indicated in the report, where we actually did receive money coming out. With respect to the 2011 operations, their financial statements, we do have them now. We are putting together a staff report. We also continue with the analysis of their financial statements in addition to their 2012 business plan by somebody independent of us, Mr. Horn and Associates, as we have done, has been our past practice since the opening of the Center, and that report will be coming to the council either at the August meeting or the September meeting. So we do hear you in terms of making sure that we monitor the activities of the city's investment in the Powerade Center, and we have, as staff, over the past number of years, on an annual basis, reported to council because it is a significant investment by this city in that service.
Now, as I read this report at I-6-1-6, top of the page, it says the revised mortgage was critical to allow the Powerade Center to generate positive cash flow and become self-sustaining. As a result of this restructured mortgage, 2012 will be the first year the City of Brampton has not made a financial contribution toward the operation of the facility. Well, we were on the covenant, as I recall, as a guarantor. So really, by the restructuring of the mortgage, I don't read that as being additional funds that came in as a result of the operation of the whole process. It was the restructuring of the mortgage, which put us on the hook for more, continued to put us on the hook for more money that was then being paid into the debt that was owed, and that's sort of just, that's like, I don't mean to be critical of them, but it's like a shell game. And I don't remember ever receiving, and I'm sorry, Mo, if I've gotten it, I don't remember ever receiving a financial statement from either the Powerade Center or the other two. What are the other corporations? PA Sports Center and the Battalion. I've never seen one. I'm wondering if they're all done in one financial statement or whether they break out to three individual.
Through you, Madam
Let's
Mayor.
ask the question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, with all due respect, Councillor Callahan, on an annual basis, the report is prepared by Community Services in conjunction with the Finance Department that provides the City Council with copies of the financial statements, again, an analysis of the actual financial statements themselves, and an analysis of the business plan. That is provided on an annual basis. That is a requirement of the agreement between the city and PA Sports.
And we councillors get a copy of that?
Yes, sir, you do. Okay? And what will happen is that this year, as we do every year, again, I'm not sure we're working on it right now, whether we do it on August 8th or the first meeting in September, you will again get an opportunity to review the financial statements and review the analysis that is done by Mr. Horn and Associates, chartered accountants, of their financial statements and the business plan. So it gives council some comfort in terms of what the activities of the center are, what the revenues have done, what the expenses have been, etc. All the questions that you've just raised, they are addressed.
Okay, now you're a financial guy. Let me ask you the question. If you were out in the public sector and you had a loan outstanding in which your principal was guarantor for almost the entirety of the loan, would you not require more than just a reporting of once a year? Would you not require a reporting of perhaps every three months to ensure that you've got a hold on the expenditures and the income?
Through you, Madam Mayor, in this particular case, Councillor, on an annual basis, because of the fact that the way they are in contact with us, since my arrival here, we have been having regular discussions with them regarding their financial activities. So I feel that an annual report is sufficient. There are times where if something, for example, if something were to happen where based on the refinancing that we did and we expected certain outcomes and they weren't being achieved, then I think we would work at things a little bit more frequently. But as I stated, I believe in February of 2011, I think that under the current circumstances, them reporting annually to council is sufficient.
Well, I'll accept your opinion, but I money out, well, it is my money, I'm a taxpayer. I would be concerned about leaving it out there with just a reporting once a year, but in any event.
Thank you. Councillor Moore?
Thank you. I guess one's a comment. I guess they're both comments. I'm looking at the capital cost estimate, and I'm wondering how these capital improvements,
Which
Are-
page, Councillor?
oh, sorry, the I-6-1-8,
Okay.
the $250,000, how are they going to improve the attendance at the games? And that's probably a question you can't answer, but it's a question that is in my mind. How is the $250,000 going to increase the attendance at the game, which is really at the root of the problem for the Brampton Battalion and for us as a city who want to support the team? So I guess it's a question that doesn't really have an answer. But the next question I have goes back to the request to us is from the Brampton Battalion to make these capital improvements, and the mayor has stated that they've got two other offers on the table. I would hope, and it needs to be somehow understood or incorporated into the recommendation, that should the Brampton Battalion make a decision to take up on one of those other offers that are on the table, that we do not make this $250,000 investment in the Powerade Center. It doesn't say that, but this really needs to be contingent upon a Brampton Battalion decision to remain in the city of Brampton. And I think for at least 5 years. And I'm assuming that the final recommendation number 3 is making reference to the video board. It doesn't say that. It talks about capital improvements, of which there's a costing for some of those capital improvements, but not for the video board. And I know we've talked about it not including that, and that it's $1 million investment, but it doesn't specifically say that. So I'm going to assume and have faith that number 3 provides for that report to come back. And again, just a comment. I'm afraid that, what's that saying, if you're in for a... There you go. In for a penny, in for a pound. That there's an expectation that because we came to the table for the $250, that we are going to come to the table for the potential $1 million investment in the video board. So that's more a caution, I think, for those of us around the table that, that's a huge investment in a facility that someday is going to be ours. But again, I don't know how the video board contributes to the attendance for the Brampton Battalion. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and
Be quieter on council.
well, I have played in better days. I have played in all 4 of the rinks in this facility, and as a facility for tournaments and for minor hockey, it's unparalleled. It's all over the GTA. It's one of the best facilities for that. However, it is lacking a little something when it comes to the OHA. I've been in some of and I share with Councillor Moore, the attendance is the big thing. We need to put another 1,000 bums in, or sets of bums in seats per game, or else we hopefully may end up like Arizona on a smaller scale. But I've been in several of the OHA rinks. Some of the older ones have a charm. London is a fantastic, and they get 4,000 fans to a game. It's a wonderful rink. I think they have some sponsorship there. Kitchener-Waterloo rink as well. I've played in the old Guelph Arena, which was attached to City Hall, so I don't know what the connection. Anyway, I haven't seen the new arena there, but I understand there was some corporate sponsorship there as well. The rinks at Mississauga is the same problem as Brampton. The attendance just isn't there. Now, whether it's the proximity to Toronto, I don't know. The teams that do the best are far away from Toronto, but it's very difficult to get Leaf tickets as well. So, and the Marlies have the same problem except when they got to the playoffs, they don't draw flies either. So there's a major problem. The big thing to solve here is getting more bums in seats, getting more attendance. It is a really great asset to have this team in Brampton. It does a lot for the city. Chris Cuthbert, on every single game when there's a ex-battalion in the lineup, he will mention former battalion and Joe Blow or whatever is sometime during the game. It's a great promotion. We need to do everything we can to try and keep them in the city. But short of, I don't know how we can, unless we can find some major or several major corporate sponsors to ante up to help, and some way to get another 500 to 1,000 bums per game in seats, that will make all the difference in the world. That's the big thing. The big crux of all of it is getting more people to the games. Embarrassed when you watch them on television and the cameras pan through more empty seats than there are spectators. And this is what goes across Ontario. Many of the televised games that I've seen are again showing more empty seats than people in the seats. So our big push and the big thing we have to do is to do whatever we can to get more spectators there to the games. Thank you.
Solve that. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Council, the next report is moved by Councillor Sanderson, seconded by Councillor Miles. It was one of the added new items. It's known as I-6-2. Councillor Pleshy? Oh, I knew you'd speak to this.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Yeah, my favorite subject,
It
tax
is.
write-offs. Can I, just a couple of questions. First question is, if we do this 50,000 and they sell, apparently they have a buyer, I guess, of the property. Is that correct? So of the 799,000 that's owing, how much by releasing 50,000 or reducing it, are we gonna get the balance, the $749,000 paid?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes.
And is that the buyer paying it, or is that through the development bank, that it's being guaranteed?
It would be part of the closing costs on the sale.
So that's, the development bank's not coming to us after saying, sorry, we're not gonna pay you?
No, this is finalizing our share of the proceeds.
Okay. One other question then, just on procedure. On the second page, you've got, under the paragraph Municipal Act 2001, it says, as a result and for additional reasons that follow, even if the city could initiate tax sale proceedings at this time, conducting a tax sale would be ineffective in recovering the taxes owing to the city. Why would that be? Because if we do a tax sale, are we not then the first ones that would be able to claim the money that's owing to us, and then the balance would go to the mortgagee and whoever else?
Through Madam Mayor, we are subordinate to the Crown and Crown agencies, and the Business Development Bank is a Crown agency.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they
I
would
didn't
have
realize,
first
I
claim
thought they
on the funds,
operated
yeah.
completely separate.
No. They have,
So it's
they have
basically
priority.
saying the government's gonna get,
They'll get paid first. Yeah,
and then the second government will get paid last, if we get anything.
yes.
Do we know who the buyer is?
I'll let Mr. Zangaro answer that question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, no, we don't know who the buyer is. We have had some information relating to the sale price and whatnot, which was relayed to us on a confidential basis, because it's still yet to close.
Well, I see, yeah, the value's $6 million. I'm sure it's being sold for a lot less than that.
That's the assessed value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll, all right. So if the deal falls through, what position does that put us in?
The receiver has agreed to be responsible for the taxes notwithstanding. So the deal with them is essentially, there's a $50,000 write-off. If the deal does not go through, the receiver will pay the monies notwithstanding that their deal's fallen
So
through.
they'll take the 50,000 off and they'll pay us the 749, or they'll
Right.
pay the full 799?
No, the 749.
749. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Council. All in favor? Yes, sorry. All in favor of I-6-2? Thank you, that's carried. Is this the next one? Council, the next matter is I-8-7. It's with respect to Bright Roof Solar, and the recommendation is that they be supported. It's as printed. by Councillor Miles, seconded by Councillor Hames. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. An added item, council, was I-8-9. It's as printed on your additional agenda, moved by Councillor Palashi, seconded by Councillor Hutton, and it's the bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw 270 as amended. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Council, we now move into the procurement section. The procurement matters are here. Each one has a mover and seconder. The first item is as printed, moved by Councillor Sprovieri and seconded by Councillor Dillon. All those in favor? Thank you. Maybe I could just have them all pile of them. Thank you. The next one is Q2. It's moved by Councillor Miles and Councillor Dillon. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Q3, Council. Which was, sorry. Do I, sorry. Yep, sure. Do you need, is it a question that we need to reopen? Are you gonna change the, okay, let's just ask the question.
Just
Sure.
an explanation, really.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say, no, don't do it. I'm just wondering why that wasn't in the initial cost estimate, so when we dealt with this, the overall project.
Maybe the city manager, finance, or who, Mo? Who do you want? Mo?
Through you, Madam Mayor, Councillor, it was in the initial plan that was presented and approved by Council on August 10, 2011.
Okay.
What we're doing is just the manner in which we're doing the work.
Okay, so it was there, this is
That's
not an,
correct.
this is not an
Nothing
additional
additional.
cost or anything like that, it's just how you're going about.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we didn't
thanks
need-
very much.
Thank you. Item Q3, moved by Councillor Sprovieri, seconded by Councillor Dillon. This is the Clarkway Drive reconstruction at Bluff Meadow. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. The Q4 is the report for the Countryside Drive reconstruction widening from Bramley to Torbram, moved by Councillor Sprovieri, seconded by Councillor Dillon. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Item Q5, request to begin procurement, moved by Councillor Miles, seconded by Councillor Hames. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Council, we're now at the area of the agenda called public question period. If there's any item on the agenda today that any member of the public would like to come forward and ask a question, please do so at this time. Seeing none, Council, we then move to bylaws. Councillor Hutton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Palashi that bylaws 190-2012 to 197-2012 before council at its regular meeting of June 27th, 2012 be given the required number of readings taken by the mayor, the city clerk, and the corporate seal affixed thereto.
Thank you. All those in favor of the bylaws as read? Thank you, that's carried. Council, I now have a motion to move in camera. There are 5 items on the in camera. Item T1, minutes to closed session of June 20. Item T2 and T3 and T4, proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land. Item T5, a personnel matter about an identifiable individual. All those in favor to move in camera at this time? Thank you, that's carried. We will rise and report on those matters that have public decisions to be made at the conclusion of that session with the confirming bylaw. I will say the next, just prior to us going in camera, the next council meeting is Wednesday, August 8th at 1 p.m. I will remind people Canada Day celebrations are just days away at our Powerade Centre and Carabram Classic Cars. Please have a safe, healthy summer with your family and friends. Council, if we could move in camera, we'll take the formal notice of adjournment at the conclusion of that portion. Thank you.